and the philosophy that is going to have all this podcast. Why this podcast is different, and is this: I believe the foundation of a meaningful business success is personal development. And so this is not about just how to make money fast or how to just make your business grow. This is going to be how you can develop yourself, how can you grow yourself, how can you develop yourself as a person, and kind of in consequence, how can you make your business grow.
Welcome to launching My Creative Studio with Alejandro Calderon, an honest and straightforward podcast powered by Centaur Group, where we share our experience of launching a new business. Every Friday, we'll bring an update on the progress we're making, our challenges, and our wins, so that creatives like you can get inspiration, strategies, and tactics to launch and optimize your business and your life. Let's begin.
Hello, my creative friends. Welcome to the first episode of this podcast called Launching My Creative Studio. I'm super happy because I've been planning this for some time now. And finally, I have decided to, launch it. I have a good idea that I think is going to be both beneficial for me because I'm going to be able to share like everything that is happening in my life today with my studio, with the launch of different projects that we have. And so I want to be able to share. And also for you, I want you to be able to get inspired, get some tips, get some frameworks of what I'm working on. And so, yeah, that's kind of the idea with this. Today's episode is, is the beginning of the journey. It's the first episode, and it's something that I want to take time to really share what is the idea with this podcast, because it's a journey. It's going to be built within time. There's not going to be episodes pre-recorded or, episodes batched in for the whole month. Every single week, I'm going to be recording these episodes, and I'm going to be sharing my experience with what is happening with the launch of my new business called Ghost Webs. And I'm going to be probably oversharing all that is happening. And so we're going to have different sections. We're going to have different moments where I'm going to be sharing that. And this podcast, this very episode, is just to give you an idea of what this journey is going to be. So who am I? I'm a brand identity designer, and I'm from Costa Rica. I'm a self-taught designer. I started probably about 20 years ago with my love for design and for this art. And I started to first experience with websites. I remember the day where I started asking myself, how did I do this? Like, this is so cool. Like, I can access to some, information from somebody else in the other side of the world, some other company that is providing this service. And so to me, that was very cool. And I started to explore with that. And that's where I started in my journey with design. But I grew up in a very small town in the south of Costa Rica, and I didn't have quite the access to information that we have nowadays. So I think that I was very privileged in the sense that I had the opportunity to study, regular education, primary, and then high school and all this type of things. And I always liked it. I think I always like to learn, to keep learning, to keep studying. And I never liked the kind of work from, the farm. My father had a coffee farm. And so I never liked that. Unlike my school classmates, they loved it and they're farmers like today. I'm not. I was like, this is not my thing. I'm not from around here. I don't fit here. And I always wanted to, do something more. And I think my story is one of the, if you're given the opportunity to study, if you're given the opportunity to learn and to have access to this information, then you can reach a lot of things. And that's one of the things that I want to tell. And so, yeah, I started studying English teaching. That's probably how I know how to speak English, but because my first language is Spanish, and I was not sure about that career. I didn't picture myself as a teacher, but I remember that kind of my criteria there was, okay, so I'm gonna study this, and worst case scenario, if I don't like to be a teacher, then I just keep the language, and that is exactly what happened because I could not picture myself working for the government as a teacher. So yeah, and then after that, I studied laws. Mostly because I was very inspired by a lawyer that I met that is one of the best lawyers from the south of Costa Rica, and I asked him the opportunity. Hey, can I work for you for free? Because I really want to learn and really be inspired by all the things that you're doing in your business. And he gave me the opportunity. I started to love laws, and yeah, all that legal environment, all the processes. That's where I started to kind of like how systematic he was with all his files and all his documents and everything. And so I started to study that. It was a big jump for me because I never. So I had to believe that I was able to become a lawyer. I had to believe that I was able to study that, because I had this mindset that, that career was only for people that had like, I don't know, like a different brain than mine, something like that. And so I had to convince myself that that was something that I could do. And so I studied it and finished the bachelor's degree and everything. But again, I never saw myself as a lawyer. And the reason why I didn't start to study graphic design from the beginning was because that career was just not available in the small town that I was from. And so that was not even an option. And even when I moved to the capital city of Costa Rica, it was just like super expensive to study that. It was just totally out of my reach. And so that's one of the reasons why I never studied that. But yeah, I think that I was able to learn most of the things by myself anyways. And so, yeah, I started my business back in 2006. So it was like 16 years ago, something like that. And I started creating websites for real estate agencies that, wanted these websites to start selling their properties. And back in those days, there was this boom of real estate. But soon enough, the crisis of United States, the housing bubble, as they call it, it hit my country like a couple of years later, and or the biggest impact was a couple of years later, because then the investors that mostly came from the United States, they stopped their projects, and all these agencies that I was working for, they stopped they stopped creating websites or asking for updates, or basically my business has stopped. And the problem that I had there is that, yes, I was good with websites and I was good with design, but I had no clue about business, and I didn't know how to generate clients, because all the clients that I had was through referrals, and I never did an effort to actually reach out and sell something. It was always like, hey, I need this, can you design this to me? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. But it was never like I knew anything about marketing or anything like that. So I mean, I keep trying to survive, and when my last big client canceled the contract, that's when I was like, okay, I need to just get something safe. And that's when I started to work in Amazon as a customer service agent, and worked my way up to becoming a manager. I worked 7 years in Amazon, and it was it was like going to university because it was such a learning experience. It was like very different experience there. But what I like about Amazon is that they really put attention to your development as a leader, and you learn a lot. And so that's what I did. And with the pandemic, I said, you know what? I need to go back to design. Design is my thing. I do not see myself working in Amazon for 7 more years. I just can't. And so I guess with the pandemic and the extra time that we had in our hands, we had some time to think about what do we really want to do with our lives. And well, that's what I did. I went back to what I really wanted, and yeah, I restarted my own business, and I took a year off on last year to basically plan everything about my business. This time, remember that I said that how my previous time with my own business, I was good with design, I was good with websites, but I didn't know anything about the business of design at all. And so that's one of the reasons why my business failed at that point, or I just couldn't continue. So this time I knew that I really needed to not only get up to speed with my skills or get up to speed with the technology of design nowadays, but also I needed to really learn about the business of design. So how do I get clients? How do I keep them happy? How do I sell something? And so and also, how do I launch a business that is sustainable, that is a good idea, that is going to keep growing? And that's when I started to discover the power of planning and a brand strategy and all this type of things. And so I love planning. I mean, I just love it. And so to me, last year, one of the things that I wanted to do is just make sure that I just don't jump into create any website just right away without a clear idea of what is it that I want, why do I think this business is going to be a good idea. And I wanted just to have the criteria to make sure that this time around I was going to be successful. So that's why, again, last year I spent the whole year pretty much planning my business and launching it, creating the website and all that. And at the beginning of this year, I did that. I created Center Studio, and you can visit that website at centerstudio.com. It's a studio basically focused on brand identity design for creatives. So the thing is that this year, things did not go as well as I planned. The projects that I was kind of planning did not go as well as I planned. And things started to really get complicated with all this economic situation that we are experiencing nowadays with the war in Ukraine, with the pandemic, and all this type of things. So I decided that I needed, like a stable source of income and very quick. And so I had the opportunity to start working with a marketing agency from Florida, and with a full-time contract. And so now I'm, and this is my situation right now. I'm working full-time for this marketing agency, and then part-time I'm working on my own business, on launching another business that is going to be kind of easier to sell. That's kind of the idea. And because it's something that I not only that I know, which is websites, but also something that I'm launching with a partner from Mexico that I met this year. His name is Eugenio. He's a really good web developer, but also, and most importantly, he's a very good friend of mine. And yeah, together we're launching this new studio that is called Ghost Webs, and we're gonna talk about a little bit more about the idea with this. But yeah, this is kind of a summary of where I'm coming from, what is currently my situation, and so the point of this podcast, what I really want to do is, I spend the whole year of last year studying and trying to understand about brand strategy, about what does it take to launch a successful studio so I can do it well. Because honestly, I didn't have the pressure of I need money right now. And so I had that chance to really learn and kind of document myself and really try to understand all these topics. And so this time I feel very confident in launching another business that I know that is going to do very well, or that I hope so. we'll see, but I have that hope. But I feel confident because it's not my first time that I do it. And so I was like, why not sharing this process with people that are maybe in the same situation, launching their studio, or with, creative people that are working for somebody else from some other agency, but that they want to know what it takes to really launch their own business. Or even better, or, well, not even better, but also a different situation, why not share this with other agency owners that they want to kind of optimize their studio? Maybe they haven't touched anything about their brand strategy in a while, and they want to kind of know a little bit more about that. Or maybe they don't know anything about naming, and they don't know if their name is good or not, or they don't know anything about content marketing. And so I'm going to start sharing a lot of things that I'm going to be applying to this studio launch, this business launch. And so I was like, yeah, I can do this at the same time. I can be launching my business and then documenting it, so that in the future I can have an idea also that how did I do it? What was I doing when I launched my business? And this is not just a story that I'm going to tell in maybe in books or in conferences or whatever, but it's something that, you know, I can reference people to. Hey, look at my podcast, go to my YouTube channel or go to my podcast, and you can see step by step all the things that I did for launching it. So that's kind of the idea with this podcast. Today is a little bit messy, but I just wanted to give you that intro and tell you what do you want to do with this. We're going to have three sections. The first one is a weekly report. So here's where I'm going to talk about my progress, the failures, the wins, and the lessons that we have been learning throughout, the week. And I'm going to be brutally honest. I'm not going to try to pretend that everything is going well when it's not. If it fails, it fails. But you're going to see it real life, and so no BS here. Okay, so that's the idea, to bring you a very honest podcast, because honestly what I thought is, hey, there's a lot of great podcasts and a lot of great resources out there talking about tips and tricks and all this advice, but from people that already created all these studios or created all these businesses or are reading about it. But I want to bring a different perspective. It's like, how does it feel to be doing it right now with this economic situation, with this set of circumstances that are surrounding us, with the resources that we have at our disposal nowadays? So that's what I want to do, and that's the report that I want to bring to you every week. I'm going to try to share as much as possible. Of course, there are going to be things that I could not share for privacy protection of clients or of my team, or this type of things that are just obvious. But if it is not something kind of confidential or something like that, I'm going to be brutally honest and fully transparent. That's kind of the idea with this. And then the other section that we're going to have is gonna be called the toolbox. So here we're going to be talking about the systems, processes, frameworks, websites, and software that we are currently using to optimize our business. So here is where all the tools that I'm sharing, that I'm using right now, all the Notion, for instance, all the Descript, or all, how am I using all this software? Because maybe that is not new for you, but how am I using it right now in my business? And maybe this can give you some ideas on how to use it on your own business. And so that's kind of it. And then there is a section where I just wanted to be able to say whatever. And this is not just whatever random ideas in my mind, but the thing is this: I noticed that during my morning walks, what I do is that I listen to an audiobook, and while I'm doing that, and also depending on the quality of the book, but while I'm doing that, I notice how all these ideas start coming in. And so I've been sharing these ideas with my team, and I've been writing every morning, well, almost every morning. I've been writing these ideas to my team, and I've been sharing with them. And I want to kind of choose the best one of these ideas and bring it to you guys. And an idea that this book generated, that I think that is worth sharing with you. And so that's kind of the point with this last section. It has this funny name of the Walking Thoughts, but that's what it is. It's just a section where I want to share the things that I'm thinking that is helping me not only develop the business, but also develop myself and my team. The last thing that I want to say is that I want to share with you my biggest philosophy and the philosophy that is going to have all these podcasts. Why this podcast is different, and is this: I believe the foundation of a meaningful business success is personal development. And so this is not about just how to make money fast or how to just make your business grow. This is going to be how you can develop yourself, how can you grow yourself, how can you develop yourself as a person, and kind of in consequence, how can you make your business grow and has this money and have all these dreams that you have. But I think that success to me is being able to, have this big dream that you have and being able to have the courage to pursue it and enjoy every day, every step of the way. Enjoy every day, the season of your life that you are right now, being able to really enjoy it. And so to me, that's what success means. And I want to be able to share everything that I'm doing that I think that it's making me successful. All right, so that's kind of the idea with this podcast. I would be launching the releasing the other episodes, and every episode is going to be released on Fridays, if nothing funny happens. Because again, like, I don't have this pre-recorded like a batch of episodes. I'm going to be doing this as we go, but if things happens, stay tuned on my social media. I'm most active on Instagram. You can find me at the Alejandro Calderon. That's the handle for Instagram. And very soon we're going to have a website that is going to be with the name of this podcast and everything. Well, thank you very much for listening today, for watching, if you're watching us on YouTube. And see you next week. Bye.